Anyway, there's a group called the New York City Community or Citizens Action Network, and they have been taking this and demanding that the city council, get together some subpoena power and start investigating. Pull these reporters in, and let's see, it wasn't just the reporter, it was who did he say? A Con Edison worker. Find out what Con Edison worker. First, pull in the Jeffrey Scott Shapiro and put him under oath with the penalty of perjury, and ask him to identify the New York Police Department officers that he talked to and the Con Edison workers that told him that Larry Silverstien was talking to his insurance agent about controlled demolition. Now, this kind of, if there's any truth at all to this, and keep in mind that this might just be another disinformation thing to get us 9/11 people all up and then point to us about frothing at the mouth over things that couldn't possibly be true. But again, that's what, we're not saying accept all this stuff as truth, but accept it as something that needs to be investigated at least. And you can't object to that, and if you do, I'd like to hear your reasoning. But we're going to open up the phone lines now to see what the general public thinks about that. But here's what the New York City Citizens Action Network has, done. They've this week, NYCAN is having meetings with 2 more members of the New York City Council, numbers 9 and 10, in our mission to educate all 51 council members about the collapse of Building 7 and make them take action. But before we go further into what's happening behind, that's something else that they're doing here. But they start talking about last week, Fox News journalist in a hit piece attacking Jesse Ventura, and in pursuit of the truth revealed that he was told that Larry Silverstien was seeking authorization from his insurance carrier to demolish Building 7. Well, if that isn't shocking enough news for you, I'd like to know what is. And remember, Larry Silverstien deliberately engineered his insurance policies to cover terrorism when most places didn't even bother, and he made a specific binder that if the towers came down under any circumstances, he would have the right to rebuild. Now, it's all beginning to fit together as one big, clumsy business scam and con job. At least part of it. It looks like I have a phone call. Well, caller, what do you think? I don't hear the caller.
Hello?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hello?
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. I was just calling to share.
Turn down the TV set in the background, and you won't have that delay.
I'm going. I can't under. There we go. Yeah. I was calling to share an interesting story. I was dating a fellow that was in the military, and he was in like security sort of a thing, and they were at a seminar just before 9/11. As a matter of fact, the day of 9/11, it was early that morning, and the booklets that they had handed out that morning had, the front of them had pictures of the World Trade Centers with airplanes crashing into them exactly in the same position that the airplanes crashed into those buildings.
Right.
And they had TVs in the classroom, and they thought that it was just something, a television thing that they'd rigged up to, for a demonstration.
Yeah, dramatic reenactment or something.
No, they didn't even realize that it was actually happening. But that day, all of those booklets were confiscated, and none of them were allowed to leave.
We've heard about them before, though, and it's amazing that there have been a couple of. At first, they denied that there were even war games going on, but one of the war games going on that morning involved 2 planes crashing into those 2 towers. What a coincidence!
Yes, but I was stunned. I mean, can you imagine having a booklet sitting in front of you with that picture of the Twin Towers, airplanes crashing into them, and then looking at the television set and seeing the exact same thing that you're looking at?
Well, eventually, eventually they found out that that was live and not part of their study. What were they told then?
Oh, exactly. They didn't realize it was live until, somebody said, "My God, that's not a reenactment. That's actually happening." And it was like the whole classroom just went buzzing, and within minutes they were picking up those handouts or those booklets, and everybody's like shaking their heads watching this happen and going, "Oh my God, what in the world is happening?"
Man, the thing about it is, remember, it took 40 years before we started getting any sense out of the JFK assassination. Here it's only 9 years, and I'm sure that the internet is what's speeding that up, and that's one reason why they're getting ready to try controlling the internet. We have to fight against
absolutely.
that. But
this guy was very, 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 very patriotic. He was, really into what he was doing for the military, and I'm telling you, this was a very credible source. And for him to tell me that, I was sitting there with my mouth open going, "Really? Are you kidding me?"
That must have been quite a shock. But I want to remind everybody that, everybody keeps talking about how many people must have been involved if it was a government inside job. And I want you to understand that just like these guys that were studying, as she was saying, they were every one of them, for the most part, except the upper people that really knew what was going on, everybody involved in 9/11 was probably doing their patriotic duty as they understood it.
Absolutely.
And had no idea that it was part of a bigger overall sinister plot. And maybe they never knew it. Maybe they found out later and then were just mortified and didn't want to, be involved, whatever. But the point is, right now, slowly and surely, we are breaking down, unraveling every single lie they've told us. We don't necessarily know the truth yet, but we know what the lies are.
We would be horrified. Every American citizen would be horrified if they actually knew what was going on behind closed doors. And, I was stunned, and I'm sure that this is just the tip of the iceberg and probably, just one of many, many things that are going on that we don't even have a clue about.
Yep, that's true. Well, thanks a lot for your call, and keep watching. We'll be on again on the 15th.
Thank you so much.
In the meantime, this is available on YouTube and Blip TV.
Very good. And like I said, when I heard what your topic was today, I just couldn't help but calling in.
Right on. Well, thank you very much. That's really apropos.
Great. You have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, like I said, it just keeps unraveling and unraveling. They're not going to be able to keep the lies straight anymore. One by one, they fall. And, everybody demands that we have the answers. Well, what did they do? What did happen to the airplanes? Why did they do this? How could they let 3,000 of their own people, you go find the answers to those questions. I don't have those answers. All the answers to those questions are just bad. That's what we need an investigation for. It's time to get some subpoena power and really do something like they did during the Iran-Contra affair. Now, I recommend another movie. I see we have a caller, and we'll go right to that caller. But we have another movie that you should watch, and it's on YouTube, just like the Invisible Empire. It's called Secret Government, and it was put out by Bill Moyers, that left-wing arm-waving radical. But the story was about the Iran-Contra affair, and it shows all of the investigation, the ramifications, how Ollie North, fits into it, all that sort of stuff. It's a great movie. You should watch that one. And anyway, caller, go ahead.
Yes, Bill.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I have some questions. I'll make it quick if I can.
Okay.
Do we have so many just really dumb, ignorant people, or it's the fear that's keeping them from accepting the truth about all this, or is it
I'd say that
not getting it?
Actually, the polls show that as many as 80% of the population don't believe the government story, and as many as just over 50%